Good morning, everyone, or whatever it is where you're from. This is the BenchCast with Coach Ben, and I got Elvis here. We're on Instagram Live right now. We got viewers coming in here. We got listeners here. This is the first episode of the BenchCast. My goal with this podcast here is going to be, I want to keep it 25, 45 minutes. A morning commute type of listen, and right, something that you don't have to sit down for 3 hours and learn about bench pressing. All right, I want to keep it a nice, simple listen for you guys. We're gonna shoot the shit. Coach Ben here, shooting some shit. Doesn't have to be always training related. We're gonna answer a lot of questions. We're gonna hit on a lot of topics, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. All right. So make sure you go to the Big Benchas YouTube channel if you haven't. Subscribe to that as well. You can see the actual video of the podcast. And also, please, too, wherever you're listening from, please leave a short review of the podcast. Give it a 5-star rating. That always helps. So today, what are we talking about, Elvis? We're talking about training mistakes.
The biggest training mistakes.
The biggest training mistakes you have made and how you have learned from them. Now, we're trying to help people today learn how to avoid these mistakes that we've all made. We have some user comments on our Instagram at Big Benchas that we're going to touch on as well. And Elvis, you can bring that up in yours there. We are going to, take a look at those comments and see what people are saying. I got a few to kick it off. Elvis, you have anything that comes out in mind here?
Just stuff about deadlifting.
Stuff about deadlifting.
Yep.
Let's get it out of the way. We don't like deadlifts here. Let's get it out of the way.
All right,
We're at Big Bench's HQ. This is the bench haven. All right, let's listen about deadlifts. What do we got?
My biggest training mistake was taking a conventional deadlift approach to my Sumo deadlift.
All right, that's a common one. Usually what that turns out looking like is a dog shitting in the woods.
A dog shitting in the woods, or in my case, a broken back for about 3 weeks.
What happened with your back?
Oh man, I had a low back tweak. It just didn't go away. I had 3 weeks out of commission. It was bad. It was no good.
I had a lot of those myself, pulling conventional. Short arm bastard over here trying to reach down to the bar. And I've had my fair share. And it's one of the things I wanted to touch on is maxing out too often. That's actually the first thing I wanted to touch on. Probably the biggest training mistake you make early on in your training career is trying to test your max too often. And that was something I used to do. I remember deadlifting LA Fitness, stiff bar. The weights are octagonal, whatever the hell you want to call them. And they just wouldn't stay. Well, they would stay put. They wouldn't roll, so they'd be moving all over if you hit the corner. But I would go in there, I would max out every week. Because I figured, if I can hit 350 this week, I can hit 370 the next week. That's a quick way to hurt your back a lot, as I found out. You will encounter your fair share of back injuries doing that. Was that your scenario? Were you trying to max out, or was it just the bar got away on you?
Just, it was bad just because I had hurt my hip, and conventional deadlifts was not happening that week, so I'm like, all right, let's do a little sumo, let's have a little form work. Did not turn into that. But the worst part about
so you tried sumo.
I tried sumo, yeah.
For the first time, and it was too conventional.
It was too conventional.
Pulled your back.
Pulled my back.
That's usually what happens.
But the worst part about these linear progression programs that beginners go on, they think they can max out every week. So they just throw, they don't know how much weight to throw on week to week. Usually it's between 5 to 10 pounds. Maybe even 2.5, maybe even 1. But people try to throw on quarters every time. That's a quick way to injury.
Yeah, and I think too, people starting off, you make such quick progress. They call it the newbie gains, and you're used to making very quick progress on a week-to-week basis. It's possible, and I was for a while. I was up in my deadlift on a weekly basis, maxing out every week. And at first, you will be able to do that. Not that it's good to do it that way, but you will be able to up your max on a weekly basis for a short term, about maybe a month, if that. maybe you get away with that, but then you're going to start beating yourself up, getting fatigued. And I think that's where people fall into that trap. They think that's going to last forever. Maybe they're not educated on it. And that's what we're here for. You're listening to the BenchCast. We're talking a little deadlifts on the BenchCast. And
for the first and probably the only time on the BenchCast.
The only time we will talk deadlifts on the BenchCast. So, yeah, I think that's where people fall into the trap with that one. Why don't we start pulling up some Instagram comments as well?
All right, we're going to need some questions. Drop your questions below. You get entered for a chance to win your friend.
I have some too on the Instagram picture too. If you go on our Instagram, I posted up the BenchCast.
The BenchCast.
Icon made by NYZ. He's very talented on the Photoshop. He does some podcast picks for some other major podcasts out there. He's fantastic. So I dropped him his Instagram in those comments, or my whatever you call it there. He's in there. Check that out. NYZ made a fantastic BenchCast icon there. Love that.
It's a good one.
I couldn't even think of that better myself. But we have some questions or some comments in there. Why don't we go to one of those, Elvis? Let's take a look at that. I have some other things I want to touch on today, too. So we talked about maxing out too often. All right. How you can easily fall into that trap of maxing on a weekly basis. We have anything coming up here?
We got Brian the Hulk Forbes.
Brian Forbes.
You need to announce your name change from Coach Ben to Coach Yoda.
Brian is he's one of my lifters, and he likes to call me the Yoda, the bench Yoda, which I'm all for. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, so I don't really get the connection as much. But I'm willing to bet he's a Star Wars fan, so he ends up calling me Bench Yoda, and but I'll stick with Coach Ben. I'm not ready for that name change.
I'm just saying there is no try, there is only do, and you must take that bench for a ride.
That sounds like a Yoda-esque type of comment. What else we got? Anything coming up?
Just Big Yoda.
All right. Let's also go on to that Instagram post. There's actually some comments down there as well. I'm going to keep us rolling here. Let's go into the reach out for help. All right, that's a big one. You don't think of that when you're starting out. That what you might be doing is probably very shitty. You might be that dog shitting in the woods type of sumo lifter. All right, but hey, you don't really know because you just started out lifting. You don't know what the hell to expect, and two, you don't have the body awareness. So even when you think you're doing what's correct, you may know what's correct, but you don't know what your body's doing. Unless you film yourself too. But reaching out for help is a really big one. When did it finally click for you to reach out for some help?
Oh man, it happened after I got knee surgery. And
right.
Just coming back to the gym was so hard because I wanted the old maxes. I wanted the old training. I wanted everything to be like it was, but it wasn't because I was deconditioned from about a month or two of not training.
So who gave you some of your first help? Did you reach out to a specific coach? Or did you reach out to a friend who's been in it a little longer?
Of course, I like that.
Social media, yeah.
I reached out to George Lehman.
All right.
I don't know if you guys know bodybuilding.com, but he's Baby Slayer. He has one of the best deadlifts. It's above 800 now. I think he's going for an all-time world record, super heavyweight. But I reached out to him, and that got me started back on the train to training consistently again.
Would you do kind of figure out a program on approach?
We figured out a program on approach. I gotta say, some of it was a little silly looking back now, but whatever works. It's more important than a program. It helped me with training consistency and to be accountable to a person. I think that's huge.
Yeah, accountability, that's a really big one. That's something I'm actually going through right now with nutrition, because that plays a big role in your training, and something starting out a lot of people don't take in mind is nutrition, how much that helps you. And for me, I know what you should be eating, right? But I just don't. And I think that's the accountability thing. I just need someone to, answer to and hold me in check. And that's why I've recently opted to get some nutrition help. So that's a really big one. Reaching out to people like that, getting on a program that has had success in the past. All right, there's people out there to help you, guide you in the right direction. All right, you're never above coaching. All right, coaches need coaches too. If you're a personal trainer in a gym, we have a lot of personal trainers that come through our gym, and they need coaching as well. It's not that they don't know what's going on, but they need some guidance through people who've done it for a while, and it really helps out. So don't be afraid to reach out for help. Even if it's just getting on a properly periodized program. Can't believe I said that all. It's like a tongue twister.
Triple P's.
I usually don't get that right. So that's a really big one. Do we have anything coming up here?
Nothing coming up, but we still have the comments from Graham.
Let's look at one of these. Who we got?
We got Merkin Moore, 19.
Ryan Moore, he's another lifter of mine. He just had a fantastic meet over in Connecticut. Bench 3 for 3, 30-pound PR. Went fantastic.
Finally actually realizing what stay tight means while benching and actually controlling the weight with each rep.
Yeah, absolutely. Staying tight. You'll hear people yell at you, stay tight, stay tight. But if you're a newer lifter, what the hell does that mean? What the hell does stay tight mean if you don't know what the hell is actually going on?
Especially for a new lifter, you get all these things thrown at you at once, you don't know where to begin.
I think, if you're a new lifter and you hear stay tight, you're going to probably clench your ass. But that's not going to do nothing for you. All right? Stay tight. Really, it's a combination of a lot of factors. Pretty much what you're after in every lift is just total body tightness. No loose links. So a telltale sign when I see someone on the bench and they just flopping around like a fish, there's a lot of loose end, there's a lot of movement. All right, when I want to see a nice tight bench, what I'm looking for is very little movement. All right, only movement that should be occurring is nice, smooth looking momentum from the legs carrying through to the bar. If you're flopping around like a fish, I see a lot of shoulder movement. That's a brilliant thing. Staying tight. That's a telltale sign that you're not staying tight. And some of the ways we can do that would be to bend a bar. You hear that one often, but a lot of people don't think of it too often. We just kind of went through. I don't have the device with me right now, but we just kind of put out a video a week ago where we talked about the bend the bar cue and what that actually looks like. And I was super surprised at how many people were bending the bar, the wrong way. They were, if you're laying down, picture yourself laying down on the bench right now, right? And they're thinking bend the bar as they're kind of dropping their pinkies down towards their side, pushing the thumbs up, and trying to bend the bar in a fashion you might see in a logo where the weights are bending the thing. All right, and that's not necessarily how you want to bend the bar. All right, how you want to bend the bar is, again, picture yourself laying there on the bench, all right, and taking your pinkies in more of a twisting motion, but a twisting motion that's happening via the lats, all right, and the pinkies are coming down, pointing towards your feet, while your thumbs are rotating towards your face. And that, my friends, is how you would like to bend the bar. And if you get that concept down, if you take one thing away from today, that would be it, is look at how you're bending the bar, all right, and make that change, because it's going to activate the hell out of your lats, and it's going to keep you much tighter off the bat. Very quick cue. What would you say is one of those cues that helped you stay tight on the bench, whether it was leg drive or bending a bar or something?
We did a video about 2 weeks ago about how on the bench, if someone cuts off the bottom half of the bench,
good one.
And your butt falls down, then you weren't tight to begin with.
Absolutely.
That was huge. You want your butt just grazing the bench.
Yep.
That was absolutely huge.
Yeah, that was a game changer for a lot of people. That's something I got credit to, Blaine Sumner, because that kind of got traced back to something he said, and that's a great one. So if you're setting up on the bench, right, where your butt is, if you take half the bench, rip it off, saw that half the bench off, all right, there's only room for your shoulders, you're still going to be able to do everything the exact same way, all right, kind of let that sink in for a second, right, you're going to be able to execute in the same exact way. Your butt is just hovering, so you're never really planted on the bench, so it's just 3 points of contact, your feet are on your traps. Your feet are pushing you up onto your traps. All right, so if you think of it, just 3 points of contact there, your feet and your traps, your butt's just hovering. That's a real game changer, because then you learn how to actually push with your legs. That's a great one. That is a good one.
We got 2 comments from Damien the Spartan, HIRD.
Damien Hurd
Said, thanks on the bending cue. Really helped me, and I'm a personal trainer. Much appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's another great example. Damien is probably a fantastic personal trainer, but he's someone that's going through our program now, and he's learning from other coaches as well, just like I learned from others as well. And we can all just learn from each other. Not one person knows everything. I'm sure I could learn a lot from Damien as well. So being able to reach out for help, it doesn't mean that you're not, smart at lifting or successful, or you're not doing things right. It's good to run ideas by other people and just continue to learn, always continuing to learn. Anything else popping up here?
Yep, but first, if you think you know everything, you probably know very little.
Yes, that's a good one. That's a good. You know who said that? You're just pulling that out your ass.
That's my old high school teacher. It goes way back.
I think he stole that one though.
Most likely. We got one from S Steel 56. Oh wow, I've been bending the bar wrong this whole time.
Yeah, man. A lot of people have. You're not alone there. You're not alone there. We got tremendous feedback from that video. We're actually coming out with a product. It's a torque bar, all right, and that thing we're gonna get ready to, be able to get it out to people soon here, and that's gonna be a complete game changer. It's gonna help lifters across all different disciplines, and you're gonna learn how to create tightness not only on the bench, but there's going to be ways to use it to create tightness in your squat and your deadlift, to use it as a mobility tool, to use it as a tool for Olympic lifting. There's going to be a lot of fantastic uses for this bar, which I'm very excited to unveil to you guys soon. So stay tuned for that one. We got something else coming up?
Yep, Albert Chris,
we'll go with that.
Yep, might as well. Would you drive your legs harder on the way up, or maximum force throughout the press?
Alright, so I'm going to answer this simply. A lot of people, you'll see how they'll come down to their chest, and then you see their legs really kick in. Alright, and that ends up turning you more into a momentum-based lift. And what I mean by that is you're relying on getting a quick pop. So your chest is never elevated as high as it could be. You're letting that bar probably sink into your chest a little bit, and then you're relying on a quick pop from your legs to get your chest up. And that's going to give you a boost through the first about inch or two of the range of motion. All right, but you're not actually applying 100% strength yourself. You're getting a little boost from that momentum. What I'd like to see, especially in training, guys, when you're supposed to be getting stronger any way you can and not rely on things like that, is total control. So I have my lifters barely touch chest, not give a lot of bar into their chest, all right, and they keep leg drive the whole time. Even during the setup process, obviously you can't push yourself off the bench when you don't even have the bar in your hands, but getting enough leg drive there. Now once that bar comes out, you're meeting it hard with the legs. You are meeting it very hard with the legs, and you're continuing to do that throughout the entire set. All right. Let's get back on the topic here. Some of the things that mistakes that we've made that we can learn from.
Just want to say, if you're on Instagram Live, just throw in your biggest mistake. Get entered to win a free lanyard.
Yeah, awesome. Yep. Definitely post down below in the comments. All right. Leave a review of the podcast. This is our first episode, guys. I'm super pumped to bring the BenchCast to you. Coach Ben here with Elvis.
Sitting here on our benches.
Yeah, we are. If you're watching on YouTube, guys, listening and everything, we are sitting on the bench. All right. I'm not bullshitting. All right. I didn't break out chairs. I was thinking, hey, should I break out chairs for this? And then I'm thinking, no, because this is the BenchCast. And I'm sitting on a competition bench made by Texas Strength Systems. All right, Elvis is sitting on a bench pad made by Texas Strength Systems. All right, go check those guys out. They make a fantastic bench. So, yeah, we are sitting on benches. So I'll go down into another one here. I just have a few, but I don't want to have this run on. We can always make another podcast. It's going to be awesome, so make sure you check that out next week.
Make sure to subscribe on iTunes.
Subscribe to the podcast. All right, then you will know when the next one's up for your morning commute. And if you really love this podcast, find a way to let me know, and maybe I'll make some more of them. Who knows? All right. So, taking warm-up seriously, that's something. I'll touch on that real quick. Taking warm-up seriously in the fact that I see people lay down on the bench with an empty bar and they move it slow as shit. All right. They are doing absolutely nothing. All right. They're kind of greasing a groove in a very slow pattern. Get something out of the empty bar, guys. All right, what I'll do, because if I'm going to apply full leg drive to an empty bar, I'm going to fly off the end of the bench. But I'm going to, first, feet up. I'm going to grease the groove. Probably about 20 explosive reps, feet up. All right? Hitting the same spot every time, same bar path. And then, from there, I'm going to go through full setup. All right? And I'm going to apply 100% leg drive. And I will press that bar, and I will be, my head is completely off the bench. I'm totally thrown into the back wall. All right, so I can only do 1 rep, but I'm treating that like a max effort lift. I treat the bar like it's 100% max effort on the bar. That's how you'll get more out of your warm-ups. Same with a plate. Don't dog it on a plate. Give it 100%. All right, you'll get a little boost out of that. You ever hear of speed work? Well, essentially, your warm-ups are becoming speed work. You're getting a lot more out of it, and I tell you, if you do this, other people aren't doing that. So if you do this for every single bench session you have, that's going to add up, guys. That's going to add up.
What I want to add on is that I heard this one from Brandon Lilly. He always said, treat your warm-ups as your maxes, but he had a specific reason for it. Everyone knows it takes like 10,000 repetitions to become an expert at anything. You can add in those warm-ups. They're extra repetitions. Practice is skill. Weightlifting is a skill. Powerlifting is a skill.
Yeah, absolutely. Just greasing that groove, as you'd say. I've seen people do 100 reps with an empty bar, and it's not fatiguing, guys, but it's allowing your body to go through that movement pattern. It's like riding a bike. You don't always have to ride a bike 100% uphill, but just doing it gets you better at riding a bike. Same type of thing with benching. All right, so I'll go on to the next one, and we're probably going to leave it there unless we got some questions rolling in here. All right, but I'm going to talk about writing things down, how critical this is, and just how big of a difference it makes with the intensity you bring to training, writing things down. So let's approach it as, I'll give, my story right now. I kind of got away from being good at writing things down, what I was doing, and having a plan written down. I kind of had a plan from previous training cycles, but I didn't have anything written on paper. When something gets written on paper, all of a sudden things change. Whether it's your goals, whether it's the program you're doing, whether you're writing down numbers you did the session, things just become kind of more real, more surreal, put in a place you see every day. So I just started writing out my program for this upcoming meet in July. All right, I really want to do good. I'm getting nutrition help, and I haven't had a written program in front of me in a while. So just this week, wow, just the difference it made in my intensity and just my approach. Like, before I'd be like, I'd have an idea of what I want to do for the day, but I would kind of be like, oh, maybe I can do that later. And it was kind of, I wasn't adhering to it as well. And now that I have things on the paper, I wake up knowing what the hell the day's about. I have to get this work in today, and I'm going to find a way to do it, and I'm going to bring it. I'm going to kill it. 5 by 5, I'm going to freaking kill it. Much weight as I can do, rest, hit it again. So I prioritized OHP earlier in the week, something I need to bring up. And I think, I hit a 5-rep max PR like 5 separate occasions that day because I was just into it. I had it written down and I wanted to kill it. So, just having that in front of you, having your goals in front of you, it's crazy how when I write down my goals, I post them up on a fridge or something I see every day because I'm always eating, damn it. And always eating, but I see those goals every day, and then I slowly watch how they come to fruition. I might be very far from them, but when I see them every day, and it's not even like I'm making, I am making an effort, but not like a conscious effort to do anything in particular, but it just kind of happens. And it's a really weird thing. And if you don't write them down, you don't get the same effect. You get that, Elvis?
100%. I feel like I lose focus on what's important throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just from organization to actual training.
Yeah, totally.
It's huge.
Yeah, having everything written down is a big, big deal. So, you're never above a training journal, guys. And if you don't have a program, if you're just trying to go through it in your head, I'm telling you, write it down. However long the training cycle is, 12 weeks, whatever, get it down on paper. Know what you want to do. It raises the intensity level 110%, telling you. Especially goals. Make sure goals are written down. All right. Do we have any questions popping in from Instagram?
No questions, no nothing, but I want to say a goal without a plan or any action is just a dream.
That's true. Elvis is full of quotes today.
I'm on top of it.
He's got everything. I think we're just going to do a podcast where Elvis just brings his best quotes and we shoot the shit about that shit. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. This is the first episode of the BenchCast with Coach Ben and Elvis. And you know where you can find us. You can meet us here on this Bench Weekly podcast episodes, BenchCast. Please do us a favor. Go over to wherever you're watching this, give us a 5-star review, and please subscribe and find ways. I don't care if it's Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want to do. Let me know how you like the first episode, all right? And if there's a great response, people are into this, the BenchCast for Coach Ben and Elvis. We will make more of them, all right? We will bring you what you want to hear. So hopefully, we dropped a lot of knowledge bombs today, Elvis.
That was huge.
And a lot of inspirational quotes.
Got a lot of love from Instagram.
Got a lot of love from the Instagram watching the BenchCast. Coach Ben and Elvis. All right, guys.
All right, later, Instagram.
Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next time. And I'll work on that cool outro music.
Oh, we could add the cool outro music now.
All right, let's do that.
We had it. We have technology.
All right, so we're going to add that outro music right now.
All right, you didn't tell them where to find you.
You can find me at Big Benches on YouTube, at Big Benches on Instagram, bigbenchas.com, Coach Ben at bigbenchas.com, email, and you can find us across all these platforms, iTunes, wherever you may be streaming this podcast.
You can find me on Instagram at Small Arm Leg Strong.
Small Arm Leg Strong. That'll be Elvis.
Story of my life.
We'll see you next time.